Autoline Daily is brought to you by Dow Automotive Systems, improving durability and increasing design flexibility with Betamate structural adhesives at dowbetamate.com.
Here are today's top headlines. Ford's Mulally rakes in nearly $18 million. Honda says joint ventures between car companies are inefficient. And yet another theory on what's causing unintended acceleration in Toyotas. Up next, we'll be back with the news behind the headlines. This is Autoline Daily for Tuesday, March 23rd, 2010, and now the news. Ford announced that its CEO, Alan Mulally, earned $17.9 million last year. A lot of people are going to squawk at him getting that kind of compensation. But remember, Ford's market cap has grown by some $40 billion in the last year or so Alan really earned it. But Bloomberg reports that Ford never sold off all of its corporate aircraft. The big three executives were crucified in the media for flying to Washington a year and a half ago looking for bailout money. They all promised to sell off their jets, but Ford says it just couldn't find buyers for 3 of its planes and let its top execs keep flying them for security reasons. One of Honda's top executives says that alliances or joint ventures between car companies leads to a drastic decline in efficiency. Bloomberg quotes Fumihiko Ike, the president of Asian Honda, as saying that trying to get 2 companies with different cultures to agree on something takes a lot of time and energy. He says it's usually faster to go it alone, and speed leads to greater efficiency. And I'd say maybe that explains why General Motors ventures with Toyota and Suzuki and Isuzu and Subaru and Saab never went anywhere. Carbon Motors, which is developing a purpose-built police car, finally revealed what's going under the hood. The E7 will be powered by a 3-liter BMW diesel. Carbon Motors has ordered 240,000 engines and automatic transmissions from BMW. In the X5 and 3 Series, the engine puts out 265 horsepower and 425 pound-feet of torque. Neither company has revealed the length of the deal, but it's rumored to be worth more than €1 billion. Wards reports that researchers in New Zealand have developed a more accurate battery meter for electric vehicles. It uses 3 different methods to measure the state of charge. Most readouts simply monitor volts, which is only accurate when a vehicle is stopped. The new setup is designed to work like a fuel gauge to provide more meaningful data, which will hopefully prevent drivers from getting stranded. How can luxury brands get customers interested in dinky little cars? And how can they make good money on them? Easy. Make high-performance versions of them. According to Autoblog, Mercedes will build an AMG version of its redesigned B-Class, which is due out sometime next year. The compact MPV would likely rival the Audi S3 and hopped-up versions of the Volkswagen Golf. Coming up after the break, another theory as to why Toyota owners think their cars are accelerating all on their own. Toyota is investigating complaints about the cruise control not working properly in 2010 Priuses. Of the 160 complaints it's received about unintended acceleration for the Prius, 11% say the cruise control did not turn off when it should. Wards reports that the company believes the problem is related to vehicles with adaptive cruise control, which uses radar sensors to detect the vehicle traveling ahead and paces the car's speed accordingly. Drivers can choose how close they want to travel behind the vehicle, but the stalk can increase speeds 2 different ways. By tapping up on the stalk, speeds are increased by 1 mile an hour, but if it's held down, speeds are increased by 5 miles an hour. That is not explained in the owner's manual. Also, research shows a learning curve for drivers with adaptive cruise control. They tend to overestimate its effectiveness, and the system itself is not always reliable. In other Toyota hybrid news, Lexus announced that the CT200H that debuted in Geneva will go on sale next year in the U.S. The 5-door compact will be at next month's New York show. PSA Peugeot Citroën is considering changing its name. According to Wards, Peugeot Citroën will be dropped from the name, and the company will simply be called PSA. The company has budgeted $740 million to promote the change and a new logo. The idea will be announced to stockholders during a meeting in June. An unlucky driver in India who just purchased a new Tata Nano was driving it home from the dealer and had his vehicle catch on fire. According to Autoblog, the driver had no idea what happened and didn't even realize it was on fire until another motorist pointed it out to him. Apparently, this is the second incident of a Nano catching on fire. The Associated Press reports that the head of the NYPD's detective union says the department has been towing its own unmarked cars and then paying officers overtime to go and retrieve them. It seems that over an 18-month span, the union has documented nearly 40 instances of detectives' cars being towed while they were on the job. And you know, this reminds me of Peter Finley Dunn explaining the difference between honest graft and dishonest graft. Honest graft is when the schoolhouse needs a new roof and you get your brother-in-law to put on a new one. Dishonest graft is when the schoolhouse does not need a new roof and you get your brother-in-law to put on a new one. Sounds to me that this is an overtime scam, and that would classify as dishonest graft. And that's it for today's top news in the global automotive industry. Thanks for watching. We'll see you tomorrow.